Hi guys, Sarah again with some tips and hints for the verbal reasoning section of the UCAT. So, as we've sort of spoken about in some of these sections or some of these question types, it's really important that you're self-regulating as you go through. That's one of the key cognitive skills. A lot of the question types are based on fact versus fallacy, on opinion versus fact, differentiating between your opinion and the author's opinion. So you really need to be careful about not drawing on external information or knowledge that you already have, and also kind of catching yourself before you bring in your own biases, because they're not particularly relevant to what the passage is saying. When you're answering these questions, it's through the lens of what you've read. So what has the author said? What have they told you? And that's the information that you can use to answer the question. Everything else that you know is irrelevant, okay? Just for the purpose of this exam. So you need to really kind of be quite vigilant in observing your own reasoning and making sure that you aren't drawing on these external sources, because it'll distract you from the correct answer in each of these questions. And kind of leading on from this, working on these cognitive skills is really going to be important. So your ability to infer from what the author has said. So they've given you a series of statements, being able to make the inference about what the next logical step would be, or about what they aren't saying that is still relevant to the text. So reading between the lines a little bit. Being able to apply the conclusions that you've drawn or the information that you've been given to a new question, particularly in those hypothetical style questions where you've been given new information. So how are you able to apply what you've learned from the initial passage to this new bit of information to make sure that you're getting the right answers? And your emotional awareness is really important too for those tone-based questions, for understanding the purpose of a text, because often it's not stated. That's something that you do have to infer, is why has the author written this? And you have to kind of piece that together from the different puzzle pieces you've been given throughout the passage. So yeah, really think about those cognitive skills that we spoke about in an earlier video, and try to consciously apply them to each of the different passages. Make sure that you're thinking, okay, what skill do I need for this series of questions? And if you're struggling with it, what can I do to improve? And as with any of these sections in the UCAT, practice under time conditions. You've only got 30 seconds per question. It's pretty tight. So you want to make sure that you are practicing with those time constraints, particularly as you get closer to the test. Because, as you can see here in 2017, 20% of people, 1 in 5, fail to answer every question. So a lot of people have trouble with the time constraints, and it's worth practicing it early on. All right, so that's all we've got for verbal reasoning. We'll see you in the next series of videos.